So I've been using Saitama quite extensively. Tried him in a bunch of different things, including Grand Crusade, just to really limit test this character and see how strong and how powerful he truly is. Which means it's time to see if he was worth all the hype or not. His main passive that you need to take note of will be his damage boost level 3. This gives him more damage based on every 100 attack he has. He also has Justice Enforcement, which is pretty good. And lastly, the Status Element Resist is actually pretty solid in a lot of different parts of the game. And you may notice that the skill only gives 10 arts at the very beginning, but this can get all the way up to 300 based on how many times you activate it. As you see with the art with lowering break res and physical res, the true art's going to be where we have some DR along with some barriers. The super art is going to be our big nuke. In terms of the slots here, we have a 5-star physical, 5-star defense, and another 5-star physical. If you take him all the way up to LB7, this last 5-star physical will become a 5-star defense. His true weapon is absolutely a must. It just gives him so much additional stats, and he has an attack buff on this as well, which you're going to want as much attack as you can get. For the other 5-star physical, I highly recommend that if you're nuking, maybe going somewhere like Blade Regalia or something like that to give you just a huge burst of arch gen. But if you don't want to go that, then any other kind of attack buff will be great here, or anything that's reducing the enemy's light res or physical res. In terms of the 5-star defense, really it's up to you, just whatever you're fighting. And nukes, highly recommend going with any of the single target arch gen items for your defense slots, your Black Trikes, your Gamagori tracksuits, all that type of stuff. In terms of crest slots here, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Attack up, art gauge up as well, very good. I know we're not in the equip section anymore, but I do want to add a little extra section here. If you do play Grand Crusade and you want to create something with the fusion crafts for Saitama, I would highly recommend looking at Deep Slayer. It's a 6-star physical item that has the chance to roll with up to 200% attack up. Now it's time to look at the animations, and Saitama's animations, they're unique. All right, compared to his original, which was just a bunch of punches, I feel like he's doing a bit more, including the whole we'll get to it whenever we get to it. We got the attack skill here, just a little punch. We have the skill, which is just a kick, and we have the art, which is the booty bump. And also, well, if you look very closely, the true art's gonna be where he jigs, and I love this attack. Also, someone told me to play with audio whenever I do his super art. Let's see what his true art sounds like though. I want to see what his super art sounds like. Somebody said it sounds like a actual machine gun. I don't really think so. Maybe it has to hit the boss and you hear like all the different like hit sound effects or something. But and then as a side-by-side comparison, let's see if it's actually faster than the original Saitama or about the same. We'll reset the detail screen here just to try to get it on an equal foot and see which one hits first. Also, Saitama kicked again. God dang it. Here we go. And look at that. This Saitama seemed to hit a bit quicker. We'll do it one more time just to see. We're going to pop both of them at the same time. Look. Yeah, he's absolutely faster. I've talked a lot about a bunch of different teams that could work with the Saitama, but let's show the one that's going to be probably allowing him to deal some of the highest damage that he can deal in the game. This really isn't applicable for most pieces of content because you're just going to die, but you may be able to squeeze this team comp in here and there just to brute force something. But in the training battle, let's see how hard Saitama can hit over the course of the next 3 minutes. As you see here, we are already hitting for 48 million damage, and that's without like a attack buff from anyone else apart from just the equips that we're running on our Saitama here. We're going to do another big serious punch right here. We're going from 49 million all the way up to 118 million. Now, one thing we can do is actually pop Hoka's art to get a bit of an attack buff as well. We can go in with another super art here. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have crits because I think our crit buff fell off. Yeah. We still have the attack buff from what I can tell, and we're going to be having another punch. We're now at 349 million. One thing I want to mention too, though, that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about is that eventually Saitama's skill is going to refund him a super art or, you know, his entire kit every single time he presses it, which is a little insane if I do say so myself. That's kind of dumb. Another thing that I would recommend too in like your team comps is to use items that provide some type of attack buff as well. As you see, we are using like Rim and Ram plush and all that. This is maybe a bit much to ask, especially if you're a bit newer to the game, but it's just like something that I would say is a bonus. If you can apply another attack buff through like a support item or something else, I would recommend it. Now we'll cross the 1 billion mark right here because we do have crit again, and there we go. We're at 1.1 billion. 1.7 billion damage from Saitama. To put it in perspective, when I did this with one of the newer characters that came out on Global, Super Saiyan God Valerie, which is an absolute hydrogen bomb, she hit for 2.4 billion. So take that into consideration, and she has like so much stuff in the kit just like building up on her modifier and her damage, as someone like Saitama really only has the ratio passive. and nothing else. To me, that's pretty impressive. I think if I get a Fusion Craft equip on him, if I get 4 pluses on him, we could be seeing a bit higher damage, possibly, maybe even hitting that 2 billion mark. But right now, I'm pretty happy with the 1.7 in that specific team comp. Now, the usual team that I use for this has Shiro involved. But in this situation, we're going to use Saitama in place of Shiro. And since we don't need Shiro, we're going to throw in like Star God Lisa just to help with some equips. And to have a 4-star heal slot, because more than likely you're going to get frozen as soon as you fight Ultimate Paladin Roy. But you're going to see how fast this man Saitama is like right out the gate. As you see, we're going to pop Keratos to make sure we don't... Oh, wait, hold on. I just messed up. I don't have Setsui for real. What am I doing? For real this time. Only thing we're going to do is pop our Keratos right here just to make sure that no one gets frozen, and then pop Setsui Frill, and now we are off to the races. One thing that we are going to want to do is make sure that we go into our True Art, which look how fast we got it. Since Saitama does get that 100 arc gauge at the start of the quest, he is insanely fast against any boss in the game. We also want to stay on top of our defense equipped CTs with Diablo, so we make sure that we have our Setsui Frill pretty much all the time. Now, when it comes to playing Saitama, very simple, very easy. Get into that True Art as soon as you can. After that, if you want to try to sneak in art or something there, you can. But in this team composition, we don't need to do that whatsoever because we already have those debuffs at our disposal. So one thing that we could try to do here is actually use Saitama's super art in just a second to just maybe get him down on his HP, and I think that is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop both these just to take him all the way down. Crap. I didn't mean for him to do that. It's fine. It's not the biggest worry in the world, but it's just like, dang, dude, we gotta freaking break this guy again. We're gonna be having a break come in just a second. You know what? We're gonna pop our True Art here just to like get that refresh going, right? And then once Saitama comes out of this True Art, we are gonna go into our Super Art, which is right here. And then we are just going to make sure that we have all of our defense items on. And then there's that. Now, one thing that we are going to try to do, because I think this guy may try to insta-kill us, depending on what happens. We're going to pop this just to make sure that we don't get frozen. We're going to reset it just to try to make sure we're okay. I hope no one doesn't get clapped by this, because I am going to lose the barrier here for a second. And what I need to do here is, as fast as humanly possible, try to kill him, because once he gets down to the second threshold, he gets very scary. Very, very scary. And I don't like him once he gets here. We're gonna pop this. Saitama, save the day, bro. Just punch him. Punch him before... Oh, crap. Everybody died. Well, if I would have timed it better and I would have had the super art right before that happened, I think I would have been able to save Star God, because once he comes out that second threshold, if you get frozen at all, the crit damage is insane. But as you see there, as him functioning more in the damage mitigation tank, if I was maybe using a crit defense item or possibly something else instead of Young Ram robes, I just wanted that just so I could have a bit of a heal, we probably could actually tank a bit better. Saitama with the most damage, and with damage taken, for some reason, Star God Lisa was the freaking tank. But let's show him off with what a lot of you guys are waiting for. The man Kenshin himself. Since we have these two, we are going to be having a total of 50% DR once we activate Saitama's True Art. And if we have a team full of humans, we will have this DR for about 2 minutes in-game. And if we select humans right here, you can see the amount of human units we actually have at our disposal. It's majority of the Ascendant characters, which means we could utilize a team comp like this. This is a bit of a crazy team comp to fight Roy. I think it's going to work out really well because we have the Will Not Flinch buff from Shadow, plus the Setsui Frill. We have a Force Keratos with Hoka. I think it might work really well. Also, look at the support items. We are... maybe gonna take off Rim and Ram plushie just to make sure that we have something else that could maybe be utilized here. We'll lose out on a bit of damage, but I kind of want to make sure that we have enough Archgen. And yeah, I know you're gonna be like, OP, how are you gonna break? I believe in Saitama. With his first little True Art here, we're going to be perfectly fine though. Pawn off with another Super Art here. We're going to be using a Super Art from Hoka just to make sure that we're okay with the Archgen. We are going to maybe utilize Hoka's True Art, but we may just use Kenshin's True Art instead, so we can use Hoka's art to give some accuracy here. So we have the break res down. Let's do a serious punch. Is that going to do crazy amounts of break, or is it just going to be whatever? Come on, Saitama. I need you to be the breaker for me here, man. Okay, we are not moving the break bar at all, my brother. We have lost our extra DR that Kenshin was supplying us. So we are now completely relying on Saitama's DR and Saitama alone, which could be a bit scary here because we actually don't have any of our defense items up, which is not ideal at all. But as you see here, I don't think it's even going to matter, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks like we are about to insta-kill this. Maybe Saitama can kill with his punch. Oh yeah, big damage. That's it. I'm still debating if Hoka's even that good with this team, because there's sometimes where you just won't have the crit chance up because you're not going to constantly be having the crit buff or crit res down, but he's probably still pretty okay. As you see, Saitama's still dealing a lot, and look at the break value. Shadow, my fault. Shadow was the best breaker on the team. But truly, the combinations with a team comp like this is kind of endless. Like, you could really take them up against pretty much anything. So same kind of game plan. We're going to load in, pop off with Saitama's True Art. We're going to pop our defense items here just to make sure that we're okay, and we shouldn't even take any damage at all, as you see there. Also, another thing, you guys may be like, OP, why don't you just go with something that's a bit better at an attack buff instead of Hero Gloves? But I do kind of like Hero Gloves because it does supply me with Skill CT, and Skill CT is very, very welcomed on someone like Saitama. We are going to pop this just to reduce the crit res so we can get some more damage, and if we're able to crit, as you see here, Saitama hits really hard even with his just True Art spam. Like, look at this. His True Art spam goes crazy thanks to that ratio multiplier. And we're going to pop both our defense items again. And we're just going to pop this. Just make sure that we have even more DR. And we should be A-okay. So there's a lot of different combinations you can do. And truly, if you have the duo of Kenshin and Saitama, and you have a good amount of Ascended characters, and the reason why I say Ascended is because most Ascended units are humans, you can make a variety of different teams just comprising of these two as like the main, I guess you would say, leader units. Of course, if you want to run a Mono Light team later on, it gets even better because you have units to look forward to like Young Emperor or Vale himself. Platina is going to be really good as a breaker. Maset, not too bad, gives a barrier on the team right out the gate. And technically, Misaka could be used on this team because she actually gives a 50% stat buff to all light allies, and she's reducing enemies' light res. So she could be a great addition to the team as well if you wanted to use her. But yeah, you could throw her on, and then once Young Emperor comes out, Young Emperor, you take him up to LB7, he's gonna have a 5-star support slot, so you have even more stuff. You don't want to do that. You got defense item, and there you go. Like, the light team is gonna be very, very set later on in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, that was Saitama. How do you feel about him? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. I think this is a character that a lot of people are going to see and they're going to write off as just whatever, but I feel like a lot of them are thinking very one-dimensional and they're not looking at the bigger picture with all the different team comps and utilizing every single character in the game. Because a little bit of a rant here, just a very tiny bit, like 10 seconds. A lot of people look at tier lists and just say whatever's best on the tier list is what's going to be good, but you have to consider GS is not a one unit wins all kind of game. It is a team gacha. Your entire team needs to be coherent and very good to be able to beat some of the hardest content in the game. Either way though, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you all again for hanging out. It's been Boy P. If you enjoyed this video, have me check out this video popping on the screen right now. Great content, guarantee you love it. I'll meet you over there, and one more thing before you leave, don't forget to drink water.